In the mid-1970s, the city of San Francisco was gripped by fear as a mysterious and elusive predator roamed its streets. This enigmatic individual, known as the Doodler, struck fear into the hearts of the community with a series of unsolved crimes. The nickname Doodler derived from his peculiar habit of sketching portraits of his potential victims before the heinous acts unfolded. Operating in popular LGBTQ+ areas, the Doodler's targets were primarily gay men, whom he engaged in conversations with, only to lead them to secluded spots where tragedy awaited. As we delve into this intriguing and haunting case, we aim to examine the mystery surrounding the Doodler, the impact of these crimes on the community, and the ongoing efforts to find justice for the victims and their families. Let us explore this dark chapter in San Francisco's history with sensitivity and respect for those affected by these tragic events. This is Criminology. In the morning on January 27, 1974. A 49-year-old Canadian-American immigrant named Gerald Earl Kavanaugh had sustained multiple stab wounds. The fully clothed body of Kavanaugh was discovered lying face up, having passed away hours earlier. Due to his self-defense wounds, it was found that he was conscious when he was slain and tried to fend off his assailant. The medical examiner temporarily referred to him as John Doe No. 7, while he was originally unidentified. During a stroll along Spreckles Lake in San Francisco on June 25, 1974, a woman came across 27-year-old Joseph J. Stevens. Stevens, who had been spotted at a bar the day before, had passed away just before his body was discovered. He worked as a comedian and female impersonator. Police believe Stevens was present at Spreckles Lake when he was there and may have traveled there with the murderer. An American-German immigrant named Klaus Achim Christmann, age 31, was found on July 7, 1974, by a woman walking her dog at Ocean Beach in San Francisco. Given that he had far more stab wounds than Stevens and had been cut in the throat multiple times, his death had been more violent than the prior killings. The corpse was also fully clothed. Unlike the earlier victims, Christmann was married and had kids. Police believed he might have been a closeted gay man since he had a makeup tube on him when he passed away. During the time that authorities were looking into the cases, which they had assumed were connected after this, he went temporarily unidentified. The San Francisco police located yet another victim in January 2022. On April 27, 1975, the body of 52-year-old Warren Andrews, a lawyer with the U.S. Postal Service, was discovered in Land's End. Andrews was discovered unconscious and passed away 7 weeks later without ever regaining consciousness. Andrews was killed by being hit with a rock and a branch from a tree. Less than 2 miles separate Land's End from Ocean Beach, where the bodies of 4 further victims were discovered. On May 12, 1975, 32-year-old Frederick Elmer Capen was found in San Francisco. He had also been stabbed, dying from wounds to his aorta like the previous victims. Disturbances in the neighboring sand suggested that his body had been moved by around 20 feet. Due to his profession as a nurse, Capen's fingerprints were compared to those collected by the state and successfully identified. Additionally, he had served in the U.S. Navy and received honors for his efforts during the Vietnam War. A decomposing body of Swedish-American immigrant Harold Gullberg, aged 66, was found in Lincoln Park on June 4, 1975, nearly 2 weeks after his passing. The fact that he was far older than the others, that his killer had taken his underpants, and that his pants were unbuttoned, make him slightly incongruous with the previous homicides. Gullberg, however, is thought to have been the Doodler's last confirmed victim. He was referred to as John Doe No. 81 while he remained unknown. So who was the Doodler? 3 additional surviving victims of the Doodler refused to out themselves by testifying against the suspect in court. Thus, police were unable to press charges, despite questioning him as a murder suspect. During his interview, the suspect was cooperative with the authorities, but he never confessed to the killings and assaults. Because the survivors refused to show up in court, the suspect was never tried or found guilty, despite officers' fervent belief that he was responsible for the crimes. The public has relatively little knowledge of the atrocities, and the culprit has not yet been identified or detained. The San Francisco Police Department is actively investigating the matter. Police are re-examining the case's evidence in light of recent advances with DNA technology that was created decades after the crimes. Police announced a $100,000 reward in February 2019 for information leading to the killer's capture, and produced a new sketch depicting what he would be like now, 40 years later. The mysterious and terrifying case of the Doodler continues to capture our attention and loom large in our collective memory. The case of this unidentified serial killer, who preyed on helpless members of the LGBTQ+ community in San Francisco in the middle of the 1970s, is a sobering reminder of the evil that may lie in the shadows. The Doodler's identity is still unknown, but the effects of his horrific deeds are still being felt today. The bravery of individuals who have come forward to share their tales and aid in the inquiry must be commended. The victims and their families deserve justice. I hope that this video will serve as a somber homage to the victims and a call to action, encouraging us all to work toward a future where such senseless violence is not accepted. Let's reflect on the past, take lessons from it, and join together to guarantee that everyone has a safer, more equitable future.